Triple H exposes a dark truth. Real reasons why Drew McIntyre quit on WWE RAW. Triple H is partnering with rival promotions for major expansions. The return of a defunct WWE event. We will never see Ricochet in WWE again. Bron Breakker makes a controversial claim about WWE. The secret leader of Uncle Howdy's faction very unexpected. WWE officially reacts to the massacre by Uncle Howdy. Triple H is pushing a hidden agenda with CM Punk's latest appearance, and more. Let's dive right in. Real reasons why Drew McIntyre quit on WWE RAW. After yet another disappointing finish to a title match, Drew McIntyre quit WWE on the latest episode of RAW. The former WWE champion was visibly shaken and decided not to address the fans. The Scotsman was upset after CM Punk cost him the opportunity to regain the World Heavyweight Championship at the recent Clash at the Castle event in Scotland. It was another disappointing result in a recent history of disappointing outcomes for the former world champion. McIntyre could have finally reached his boiling point after losing in his homeland and decided to quit WWE for the following reasons. Number 1, it's part of the storyline. The easiest explanation for Drew McIntyre quitting WWE on RAW could be that it is all part of his storyline. The Scottish Warrior quits the company for whatever reason and returns at a later date. The main talking point around the angle is when he will come back. Would it be for CM Punk's appearance on the upcoming SmackDown in Chicago? Will he take a month off before SummerSlam? Michael Cole also mentioned that McIntyre deactivated all of his social media accounts during the main event. McIntyre could easily return next week if Punk rejoins RAW, spoiling his triumphant return. After costing the Scottish Warrior again, Punk is on top of the world, so it's time for the script to flip. If Punk has a big opportunity for Money in the Bank, expect the former WWE champ to return the favor. Number 2, he feels betrayed by the WWE. While it would also be a facet of the quitting angle, McIntyre expressed frustrations with not only Punk, but also with WWE. He said some unflattering words about the company before walking out of the ring. Despite the best efforts of Triple H and Adam Pearce trying to change his mind backstage, McIntyre might feel betrayed by the company. They let someone interfere in his match again, and that person hasn't faced any repercussions. Wrestling companies and other pro sports teams treat their big stars differently than the rest of the roster. The Scottish Warrior may feel that WWE has let Punk do whatever he has wanted to do at his expense. Number 3, Drew McIntyre is frustrated with title wins being taken from his grasp. Starting with the first Clash at the Castle, Drew McIntyre has experienced more big match disappointments than a lot of other WWE stars. While Cody Rhodes redeemed himself after one big loss to Roman Reigns, McIntyre has seen something taint each of his last few title matches. A WWE star has interfered in both of his huge title matches at the Clash at the Castle event. Solo Sikoa ruined things in 2022, and CM Punk did the honor in 2024. He respected his inability to defeat Seth Rollins, but those were clean losses. McIntyre also feels that Punk was responsible for Damian Priest cashing in at WrestleMania 40. While he poked the sleeping bear that was an injured CM Punk, history repeated itself several times for a frustrated McIntyre. Number 4, he needs a break personally and professionally. When a pro wrestler quits, it is often to take some time off from in-ring action. McIntyre has been a focal point of RAW for the last few years and suffered an injury in April after an interaction with CM Punk. He healed from that injury and returned to action. Time off is essential for an athlete's body to heal, so a hiatus of any length is good for the system. Another reason for a storyline break is that McIntyre's wife was rushed into emergency surgery over the weekend. She missed Clash at the Castle and her husband's huge match. Drew McIntyre could be taking some time off to be with his wife as she recovers. He's been on TV for months, selling his feud with CM Punk, so now it's Punk's turn to do the same. Triple H is partnering with rival promotions for major expansions. WWE began focusing on major growth several years back. The company's international expansion is ongoing, and their own Forbidden Door, which is also called the Prohibited Portal, remains open with TNA and other rival promotions now that the new era is in full swing. New reports have just emerged on what Triple H and his crew have planned. World Wrestling Entertainment has working relationships with several promotions around the world. They are currently working with TNA in the United States and Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan, but have previously had ties with Progress in the UK, AJPW in Japan, and GCW in America, among others. Officials have also put effort into having a larger presence in significant markets like India and the Middle East. WWE is now looking to establish alliances or agreements with pro wrestling organizations in Mexico and Puerto Rico, according to Lucha Libre Online. Sources report that officials have made contact with promotions in both countries very recently. It was noted that Triple H and his crew intend to create partnerships with companies in Mexico and Puerto Rico, similar to what they've done with TNA, Noah, and Dream Star fighting Marigold. The report pointed to how this would be huge for the companies that WWE chooses to do business with. Sources did not name the promotions WWE has reached out to. The top company in Puerto Rico is WWC, World Wrestling Council, co-founded by Hall of Famers Carlos Colon and Gorilla Monsoon, along with Victor Jovica, who co-owns with Colon. The top Mexican promotions are RAAA, which has worked with AEW and TNA in the past, and CMLL, which currently works with AEW. As part of WWE's endeavor to harbor great relationships with promotions both within and outside of the USA, the company seems willing to let some of their biggest stars wrestle in other promotions. Fans recently saw Tatum Paxley show up in TNA to answer Knockouts World Champion Jordynne Grace's open challenge. In another major news, IYO Sky is set to take on Utami Hayashishita in Marigold. Now in another piece of breaking news, it seems that wrestling veteran AJ Styles will be heading to Pro Wrestling Noah for a dream match of his own. The star will be in action against Naomichi Marufuji in what is considered a battle between legends. It seems that WWE's attempts to collaborate with promotions in Japan have hit the accelerator, and it remains to be seen which other wrestlers will show up in other promotions in the coming months. The return of a defunct WWE event. The WWE Universe has been buzzing lately over potential major plans for later this year. It appears the company is moving forward with a significant happening that will coincide with a big milestone. New details on the matter have just leaked from backstage, and the update is sure to excite fans. It was recently revealed that WWE has been in talks to bring back the Bad Blood name for an upcoming PLE. The idea is that the event would coincide with the 27-year anniversary of the inaugural Bad Blood pay-per-view, which was headlined by the first-ever Hell in a Cell bout. The match, held on October 5th, 1997, saw Kane debut to help Shawn Michaels defeat The Undertaker. WWE is moving forward with the idea, as officials have been looking into potential venues for the return of Bad Blood, according to PW Insider. It was previously speculated that the company could hold the PLE on the exact anniversary, as October 5 is on a Saturday this year, and word now is that this is the date they are looking to book a venue for. Officials are said to be interested in holding Bad Blood in the Atlanta market. The State Farm Arena in Atlanta currently does not have any events scheduled for October 5th, and WWE has not announced any TV tapings for that week as of now. Several creative pitches have been made for the return of Hell in a Cell, but nothing is official, and it remains to be seen who will compete in the match. WWE has 4 UK dates scheduled for the week after October 5th. The company will then head to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, on Saturday, November 2nd for the Crown Jewel PLE. The inaugural Bad Blood event was the only edition to use the extra D, as the 2003 and 2004 events dropped the stylization. World Wrestling Entertainment will hold its next PLE on Saturday, July 6th. Money in the Bank 2024 is scheduled to take place at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It was announced on tonight's Raw that the returning Seth Rollins will challenge Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship at Money in the Bank. We will never see Ricochet in WWE. WWE veteran announcer Michael Cole made an interesting comment during tonight's edition of Raw. He referred to Bron Breakker's attack on Ricochet following, which the latter was taken to a hospital. Ricochet suffered a brutal attack at the hands of Bron Breakker last week. He was quickly loaded into an ambulance and taken to the nearest medical facility, with Samantha Irvin accompanying him. On tonight's edition of Raw, WWE announcer Michael Cole said the following about the one and only. Bron Breakker made quick work of Ricochet, and who knows if we'll ever see him again. Ricochet had reportedly refused to renew his contract with WWE and is waiting for it to expire this summer. It's likely that the former NXT North American champion is looking for greener pastures and wants to leave the Stamford-based promotion when his contract expires. Samantha Irvin posted a photo with the one and only shortly after the attack. She was bombarded with comments stating that he looked fine, and she had to clarify that the photo in question was several months old. Many fans are excited about the possibility of Ricochet making a jump to All Elite Wrestling after his deal with WWE expires. Liv Morgan's next challenger revealed. Liv Morgan's next challenger for the Women's World Championship was seemingly revealed on the latest episode of WWE Monday Night Raw. She was involved in multiple confrontations with Zelina Vega during the show, who could be her next opponent. Morgan captured the coveted title at the King and Queen of the Ring Premium Live event in Saudi Arabia by dethroning Becky Lynch. Dominic Mysterio's interference led to her victory, and he also inadvertently helped her retain the title on Raw the following week in a steel cage match. On WWE RAW this week, Zelina Vega collided with Sky and Kiana James in a women's Money in the Bank triple threat qualifying match. Towards the end of the match, Liv Morgan showed up at ringside to confront the LWO member. This allowed Kiana James to take out Vega, and Sky capitalized by hitting James with her finisher to win the match. Later on, Liv Morgan showed up again during Carlito's match against Dragon Lee. She was blindsided by Zelina Vega, who was mad that the champion interfered in her match. Since Vega won't compete in the Money in the Bank ladder match, she could face Liv for the title at the event instead. Bron Breakker makes a controversial claim about WWE. Bron Breakker has been on an absolute tear over the past few weeks on Monday Night Raw, taking out the likes of Ricochet, Ludwig Kaiser, Ilya Dragunov, and many more. After the events of Raw this week, Breakker claimed that he is carrying the company on his back. On the June 17th episode of WWE RAW, Bron Breakker confronted WWE Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn, leading to a match against Sheamus with a potential title shot on the line. During the match, Ludwig Kaiser interfered, attacking Sheamus. After the match, Breakker delivered spears to both Sheamus and Kaiser, and also shoved Zayn, sending a clear message. While speaking on Raw Talk, Breakker addressed Sami Zayn, acknowledging Zayn's impressive career achievements, including main eventing WrestleMania and holding multiple titles. He praised Zayn's success, but pointed out that Zayn no longer needs the Intercontinental Championship, while asserting that the championship needs someone like Breakker to secure its future. In fact, he added that he is the one who is carrying WWE on its back now. Sami Zayn, look, Sami, you've had an incredible career. You've been on top of WWE for over a decade, you've main event WrestleMania, won World Tag Team Gold, multiple-time Intercontinental Champion. There's not very much around here that you haven't accomplished. But you want to know what the difference between you and me is? You are well fed. You've made millions of dollars since being here. Truth be told, you don't need the Intercontinental Championship at this stage of your career. That Intercontinental Championship needs me, because whether you like it or not, Bron Breakker is the future of WWE. I am carrying it on my back to ensure that WWE has a home 10, 15 years from today. Whether you like it or not, Sami, I'm coming for the Intercontinental Championship because it is my job, my legacy, to create my own legacy for me, for Bron Breakker, and to carry my families on in the process of doing so. I will do whatever it takes to get there, because it is what I have to do. We will have to wait and see whether Bron Breakker will eventually end up becoming the new Intercontinental Champion, as many fans would genuinely be happy seeing him winning championship gold on the main roster. Do you feel Bron Breakker might win the Intercontinental Championship? The secret leader of Uncle Howdy's faction very unexpected. Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six are finally here, and they mean business, but could it be that they have a secret leader pulling the strings that WWE has not revealed yet? The hints seem to be indicating exactly that. Drew McIntyre may be the one pulling all the strings. On this week's episode of WWE RAW, after months of teasing and QR codes, Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six faction finally arrived and made an immediate statement. Over the weeks, the message, "A massacre is coming," had been popping up repeatedly, and this was what happened. The faction delivered on the promise, destroying everyone who was backstage and leaving carnage in their wake. However, putting that aside, there's a chance that a big hint was dropped about a secret leader for Uncle Howdy and his faction. Throughout the hints, there have been references to a mysterious him, which could be a reference to Bray Wyatt, but also a new leader. Now that the faction has finally made its debut, it comes at an odd time. All this time, there was talk of injustice, and one superstar in particular has been talking about the same on Raw, Drew McIntyre. Today, it was the end of his patience, and McIntyre finally decided to quit WWE and left the company. He left the building, and it was some hours after that the attack took place. He said he was done, and that everyone was to blame. He also made a cryptic statement that Triple H had everyone fooled from the top to the bottom, something that could be hinting at what's to come. That's exactly what happened, as no one backstage appeared to be spared from the attack by the faction when they finally arrived. At first glance, the idea seems odd given McIntyre has not really been related to the Uncle Howdy debut or attacks. However, the faction appears to be on a mission for revenge, and that's exactly what Drew wanted after losing out on his World Heavyweight title opportunity once again thanks to CM Punk. He blamed everyone present in the absence of Punk, and with the straight-edge superstar appearing on SmackDown this week, it remains to be seen if he will be targeted as well. The coming weeks and months should reveal more, but even if McIntyre is behind the faction, it may be a long time before it's revealed that he officially reacts to the massacre by Uncle Howdy. The latest episode of WWE RAW went off the air after the promised massacre by Uncle Howdy over the past several weeks finally came true. Fans present in the arena had a spine-chilling experience as the terrifying Wyatt Six faction made its debut. After the 2024 Men's Money in the Bank qualification match saw Jey Uso win, there was not much chance to celebrate. The lights went dark and a figure came out who appeared to be Nikki Cross. She pointed behind her, and the camera went to the back to show the backstage in tatters. The desks were overturned, and the superstars' bodies were scattered all about the place. There was even blood on different parts of the wall. The horror movie-esque scene was made worse by the 4 figures that stood over the bodies of multiple stars and security guards. Sam Roberts spoke about it, and how the destruction shocked him. Officially a part of WWE's broadcast team, he reacted to the situation with Megan Morant. They are the first ones to react to the situation on an official WWE show since it took place. As representatives of the Stamford-based promotion, Megan Morant and Sam Roberts were both left speechless by what had happened. Roberts was particularly shocked about the damage to the gorilla position. He called it a sacred place in WWE, and the fact that it was in shambles made the thing even more haunting. That's a sacred position in WWE, and it was in shambles with bodies scattered about the place, Sam Roberts said. Uncle Howdy's faction left WWE RAW in shambles after this week. Multiple stars, including Braun Strowman and Chad Gable, were seen as casualties during the backstage shot of the destruction by the horrific faction. The security guards were also taken out. For the moment, Sam Roberts and Megan Morant remain WWE's only official reaction on Raw Talk. Fans will have to wait and see what Chief Content Officer Triple H has to say. Triple H is pushing a hidden agenda with CM Punk's latest appearance. WWE superstar CM Punk will be live on SmackDown this Friday in Chicago. This week on Raw, Michael Cole announced that Punk will be on the blue brand for a one-off appearance. Punk showed up at Clash at the Castle this past Saturday in Glasgow, Scotland. His interference cost Drew McIntyre the World Heavyweight Championship. During the post-show press conference, the Best in the World mentioned that he had permission to skip Raw to meet his doctors. He also hinted that he would be on SmackDown in Chicago. This week on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, former WWE writer Vince Russo mentioned that WWE was trying to sell tickets for the show. He pointed out that SmackDown wasn't sold out at this point, and the company hoped that putting CM Punk in front of his hometown fans would move the needle. I don't know, we've just seen a history of, whatever we write, they'll watch. But very interesting, what did they promote on the show? Oh, SmackDown in Chicago not sold out. Next Monday night now sold out. What are they telling you there? Again, this isn't streaming deals or Saudi Arabia. That's not what we're talking about here. They're trying to sell tickets to Friday's SmackDown. CM Punk is in the middle of a bitter rivalry with Drew McIntyre. However, Drew seemingly quit the WWE this week. It will be interesting to see if this is all a ruse and McIntyre shows up on SmackDown to exact revenge on Punk. Triple H exposes a dark truth. Former WWE head writer Vince Russo spoke about Drew McIntyre's segment on Raw this week. The Scottish Warrior cut a shocking promo on the red brand. Drew was frustrated after being screwed out of the World Heavyweight Championship by CM Punk. The star walked out to the ring and claimed he was done with the company and treatment there. He then quit and walked off. This week on Legion of Raw, Russo was convinced that Drew McIntyre was not quitting the company, and this was a storyline. The former writer, however, was impressed by the sudden swerve. He felt it was a giveaway when Raw general manager Adam Pearce rushed to talk to Drew instead of Triple H. Good point. I'll give that to them. I will definitely give that to them. I don't know too much about that. To be honest with you, we know Drew didn't really quit. I don't really know how much of a storyline that is, he continued. I don't think there's anybody believing that Drew's quitting, especially with Adam Pearce going to talk to him over Triple H. Drew McIntyre also met WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H backstage. The star was serious about quitting and walked off. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce rushed to talk to him, but McIntyre claimed that Punk had fooled everybody in WWE and that he had no plans to hang around.